The sky was heavy that Friday morning. The sky was heavy that Friday morning. Gray, oppressive, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Jack, a 32-year-old electrical engineer, woke up with a disturbing sensation. The kind of premonition that makes you glance over your shoulder, even while inside your own home. But nothing could have prepared him for what was about to unfold. As he sipped his coffee, the ground trembled. It wasn't an ordinary quake. It felt as if reality itself wavered. Objects vibrated. Lights flickered. A sound? No, a vibration. A deep hum that resonated within his bones. And then, she appeared. Not through the door. Not through the window. Not even by entering this world the way normal things do. No, she tore through reality. A rift of emerald light, inscribed with symbols Jack had never seen before. And through it stepped a silhouette, colossal. Fierce. Magnificent. She was over 2 meters tall. Scales shimmered in shades of jade and gold. Eyes like molten gold, with vertical pupils that seemed to pierce straight through his soul. A body of humanoid proportions, yet undeniably alien. Perfectly defined muscles, clawed hands, and a long tail lazily curling behind her. Upon her head, a crown crafted from carved bones and crystals that resonated with a frequency all their own. Her name, Dayse, daughter of the High Council of Jakar, heir to the throne of the 10th reality. Her voice was no mere sound. It was a command, engraved directly into the mind. Jack, by the law of convergences, by the promise sealed before your very conception, you belong to me. Prepare yourself. Your fate is sealed. You will marry me, and you shall leave this world forever. Jack tried to react, tried to run, but space around him warped like molten glass. Gravity itself behaved like a wild beast, dragging him towards her. He screamed. No one heard, because, at that precise moment, Jack ceased to belong to Earth. His body was pulled into the dimensional rift. Colors lost their meaning. Blue was no longer blue. Green seemed to emit sound, and the air tasted metallic. When his feet finally touched solid ground on the other side, he nearly collapsed. But he soon realized, this place obeyed no law of known physics. A black sky, torn by 3 moons and a constant spiral of golden lightning. Cyclopean towers floated, tethered by chains made of pure light. The ground was a living metal, pulsing beneath his feet, as though it breathed. And there she was, Dayse, majestic, unrelenting. She walked towards him, each step reverberating through the very fabric of reality. This is Jakar, your new home, your new cage, or, should you prefer, your new kingdom. That depends entirely on how you choose to serve me. Her smile revealed pearlescent teeth, long, razor-sharp, glinting like knives under the purple light. Jack tried to speak. Nothing. His throat was dry. His body paralyzed. Then, she extended her hand, strong, covered in iridescent scales, with elegantly sharp claws. The ritual begins at the setting of the 3 moons. You have no choice, but you might just discover that you wouldn't want one. Guided by Dayse through the palace halls of crystal and bone, Jack discovered, with equal parts horror and fascination, that he wasn't merely a prisoner. He was a vital piece in something far greater. Your DNA, Jack. Your lineage. You carry something even you never knew. A seed lost for millennia, the result of a forbidden union between our peoples. As she spoke, ancient holograms ignited around them. Cosmic wars, blood pacts, civilizations swallowed by black holes. Our marriage is not merely desire, Jack. It is necessity. It is balance. Or the collapse of both our worlds. But shadows moved in silence. Not everyone in Jakar accepted this union. There were those who would rather see Jack dead and Dayse dethroned. Yet what Jack didn't know was that deep within, despite the fear, despite the force, a spark was kindling. A connection that transcended will and terror. A fierce, brutal, perhaps even irresistible attraction. The three moons had begun their descent. The sky of Jakar turned crimson, as though the very heavens were bleeding in anticipation. Crystal trumpets echoed from the floating towers, their vibrations making even Jack's bones tremble. Dayse guided Jack up a staircase of black stone, leading to the altar of interdimensional union, a platform suspended over a bottomless abyss, a fracture in the fabric of reality, where spirals of other worlds, collapsed timelines, and dying stars could be seen spinning in silence. The gathered crowd was composed of dozens of alien races. Silver-skinned reptilians, amphibious beings with translucent eyes, creatures made entirely of pure energy. All watched in solemn and suspicious silence. Dayse was radiant, adorned in ceremonial armor crafted from golden scales and threads of liquid light. Her eyes burned with a hypnotic intensity. "Jack, kneel. The ritual demands your submission, formally." He glanced around. He knew resistance was not an option here. Yet something within him, a primitive, untamable human fire, refused to yield. "I do not kneel." His voice was hoarse, trembling, yet laced with defiance, "not even to fate." The crowd murmured. Some creatures growled. Others emitted sounds that resembled electrical surges. Dayse smiled, a predatory smile, and, in some way, an admiring one. "So be it, the human way." She stepped forward, seized Jack by the chin with her scaly hand, and pulled him so close their faces nearly touched. "You've more courage than I imagined." Their eyes locked, and for a brief moment, an absolute silence filled the space, as though the universe itself, for the span of a heartbeat, had paused. And then, she kissed him. It was like being consumed by a supernova. Heat, electricity, sensations Jack never thought a body could endure. His skin vibrated, his nerves burned. The kiss wasn't merely physical. It was an exchange of memories, thoughts, emotions. Jack saw flashes of Dayse's childhood, her rise to power, wars, betrayals, and most of all, her solitude. The unbearable weight of being an imperial heir in a world governed by merciless laws. When the kiss ended, the three moons were perfectly aligned above them. From the abyss below, a pillar of black light rose. "The union is sealed," declared one of the reptilian elders, his voice deep as thunder. But with it comes the prophesied doom. A violent rupture, a tear in the sky, and then they arrived. The exiled ones, ancient creatures, banished eons ago, now returning to destroy Jakar and everything that drew breath. Organic sirens wailed. Towers shook. The ground split open, revealing titanic machinery hidden beneath the city's layers. Dayse grabbed Jack's hand. "Run. You still don't understand. They're not after us. They're after you." Jack stumbled. "Me? Why?" "Because you carry the last key. The only one capable of opening, or closing, the portal of realities. And now, everyone wants it." Behind them, explosions tore across the horizon. Black ships of asymmetrical design emerged from nothing, leaping through dimensional rifts. Their hulls appeared made of matter fused with antimatter, pulsing in patterns that defied logic. Jack and Dayse sprinted towards the lower sectors of the city, where organic corridors twisted between biomechanical structures. Living architecture shifted, adapting to the escalating chaos. "Where are we going?" Jack shouted. "To the nexus. The only place where we can uncover what you truly are, and maybe stop the end of everything." But the sound of footsteps, or rather, claws, grew closer. The exiled were on their trail, and even as they fled, Jack felt something growing inside him. A connection with Dayse, a bond that was beginning to eclipse fear and transform into desire. Not merely physical, something greater, primordial, cosmic. The walls seemed alive, breathing, pulsating, organic tissue intertwined with strands of energy, metallic structures, and fossilized bones of creatures so ancient that even the gods dared not name them. Dayse pulled Jak with force, leading him through corridors that opened and closed like the jaws of a colossal, slumbering beast. "We're almost there," she growled, her golden eyes blazing with fierce urgency. "If we can activate the nexus, there might still be hope." Jak stumbled, nearly falling. Behind them, the sounds of the exiled grew louder. Heavy footsteps, alien shrieks, and the gut-wrenching noise of reality itself being torn apart like brittle fabric. They reached a door, or what looked like one, a translucent membrane, pulsating, floating above a pedestal made of black crystals. Ancient inscriptions shimmered in the air around it. Dayse pressed her scaly hand against the membrane. It parted, revealing the interior of the nexus of the lost souls. It was indescribable. An infinite dome suspended in the void, where orbs of light, each representing a timeline, a universe, a possibility, floated in orbit around a colossal black obelisk. The obelisk vibrated, pulsed. Etched upon it were the names of every reality that ever existed and ever could exist. And at its center, a throne. Empty. Dayse turned to Jak, her eyes now no longer just predatory, but vulnerable. "Jak," her voice was softer now, "this throne belongs to you." His eyes widened. "What? What do you mean?" "Your blood, your very existence, is the result of an experiment that transcends eons. Humans and reptilians, we were once the same species, torn apart by war, hatred, and betrayal. You are the first true hybrid, the bridge, the missing link, the one who can restore or destroy everything." Jak felt the floor vanish beneath him. Everything began to make sense. The visions, the reason behind the abduction, the ritual, the exiled's attack. "And what happens if I refuse?" His voice was barely a whisper. Dayse stepped closer. She cupped his face in her clawed hands, surprisingly gentle. "Then, everything collapses. Not just this world. All worlds, including your Earth." She was so close now. Jak could feel the heat radiating from her scaly skin. Her scent, a blend of molten metal, alien nectar, and something deeply primal, ancient, made his pulse race. "But if you accept," her eyes burned, "you won't just be my husband, you'll be my king." A violent tremor shook the nexus. The membrane shattered. The exiled were here. But before they could strike, a light erupted from the obelisk. A light that engulfed Jak. And then, he saw. He saw every version of himself. Across every universe. He saw himself as a soldier, a scientist, a hero, a villain. He watched himself live and die billions of times. And through it all, he saw Dayse. Always her. In some realities as a lover. In others, an enemy. And in a few, something far more profound. The connection was inevitable. As inevitable as gravity between the stars. When the light faded, Jak was no longer the same. His eyes now glowed gold. Lines of energy coursed beneath his skin. His bones thrummed at a frequency not meant for humans. He raised his hand. "Stand down." And the exiled obeyed. Against their will. Their bodies twisted, recoiling like shadows before the sun. Dayse smiled. "Now you understand who you truly are." And for the first time since this nightmare began, Jak realized something. He was no longer afraid. He was in control. But with power came the ultimate choice. To save the worlds or to rule them. To be a prisoner of fate or the forger of it. And most of all, to trust Dayse or to wonder if she'd been using him all along. But as the universe held its breath, awaiting his decision, another threat loomed in the shadows. Something older than the exiled. Something even the gods themselves feared. And Jak was about to discover that his true journey hadn't even begun. The nexus pulsed. Its walls trembled as though they were breathing. or as if something was about to tear them apart from the inside. Jack felt the power surging through his veins like a torrent of molten plasma. His body was now the perfect fusion of human matter and reptilian essence. His mind operated on multiple dimensional frequencies at once. He was something new, something that shouldn't even exist. And yet, something was wrong. Terribly wrong. Dayse. His voice reverberated through the nexus, deep and resonant. What aren't you telling me? She turned slowly, and for a brief moment, Jack saw, or thought he saw, hesitation. A crack in the armor of confidence she had worn since the very beginning. She began. But then, the vibration within the nexus became unbearable. An ancient alarm, not of sound, but of pure perception, had been triggered. Rifts began to tear open in the fabric of space. From them emerged figures, but not the exiled. Not soldiers. Not rebels. No. These were the disconnected ancients. Entities composed of condensed shadow, their forms outlined by infinite fractals. Faceless. Eyeless. Just voids. Voids that devoured light, matter, and hope. Dayse staggered back. For the first time, Jack saw true fear in her molten gold eyes. No, they shouldn't be here. This is impossible. They were sealed away. What are they? Jack roared. The price, she whispered, the price of bringing you here. Of transforming you. Of forcing the union. The Nexus only works by violating a pact made before the very existence of this universe. And now, they've come to collect. Jack felt the world spin. Betrayal. Or was it sacrifice? Dayse fell to her knees, bowing her head. I lied. I hid the truth from you. You were never supposed to come. But I had no choice. I needed you. Not just to save our people, but because... She looked up, and Jack saw them. Tears. Liquid, silver tears sliding down her scaled face. Because I loved you, before you ever existed. The ancients advanced. The ground trembled. The Nexus obelisk cracked. Jack stared into the abyss, then turned to Dayse. He could flee. He could fight. He could abandon this world, this love, this lie. Or he could accept. Accept that even in betrayal, there was truth. That even in fear, there was love. And perhaps, fate wasn't about choice. It was about surrender. He grabbed Dayse's hand, held it tight. If it's going to end, then let it end together. And then, they jumped. Into the abyss. Into the light. Into everything. Into nothing. Crossing that rift was like being shredded into billions of fragments, scattered across every timeline, and then reassembled incorrectly. Differently. Jack and Dayse now stood within the heart of the void, the point before existence itself. A place where there was no matter, no energy, no thought, not even the gods dared to tread there. And there, they learned the final truth. Jakar, Earth, the exiled, the Nexus, everything. Absolutely everything was just a layer of a cosmic simulation. A construct within another. An infinite matryoshka of realities nested within each other. And at the center, the eye that watches. A consciousness. Ancient. Incomprehensible. The source of everything. The programmer of the multiverse. It spoke without voice. Its presence shattered coherent thought. You too are an anomaly. Your love was never part of the design. It was never meant to exist. And yet, it happened. You have broken the fundamental rules of creation. Jack squeezed Dayse's hand. She trembled, but she stared directly at that presence, unflinching. If our love wasn't part of the plan, she said, then it's time the plan was rewritten. The eye was silent. For a moment, that stretched into infinity. And then, something impossible happened. The eye laughed. Very well, then play. Rewrite. Rebuild. You shall become the new programmers of this layer of existence. And with that, the light returned. The void dissolved. And Jack and Dayse, renamed reality. They awoke, not on Earth, not in Jakar, but in a new world. A planet forged from their own desires, fears, and hopes. Floating mountains, oceans of crystal, singing forests, and above all, freedom. Dayse looked at Jack. Her molten gold eyes, now soft, reflected something he had never seen before. Not power, not control, not obligation, but love. Pure, free, infinite. We're free. She whispered. Jack smiled. No, we're together. And as they kissed, beneath a sky they themselves had created, they both knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning.